Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 34, DJI Status in the USA, August 26, 2025. Hope everyone is well this evening. Sounded like Minefield was a great success. Hang on a second here. I'm typing a message here. Okay. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Sounded like you guys had a great time there. I know I last night watching Drone Nation. Looks like you guys talked about it last night. I know Michael, you were on along with Chris. Michael and Chris were on last night and gave their experiences talking about Minefield, which was really good. Looked like a good time. It sounded like a lot of people were there. That's real good. Don't forget the New England Drone Meetup is coming up. Josh, if you want to drop a link in there, or CT Pirate, feel welcome to do so for that. That's coming up real fast. I know Johnny's going. I think Ray is going to be going to that. Sounds like a lot of people are going to be there. Of course, you know who the star is going to show. Mark Fisher's going to be there. That's worth the price of admission in and of itself. Okay, yeah, it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. We've got a full house here tonight. Let's see who is in the house. Wow, we got a lot here already. Wow, let's see here. Trying to see Akarasha, Warren, Drone Shots, Jody, Joe's here. Waypoint New England. Josh is here. Let's see who else. Steve Janess. Let's see here. Akarasho. John Flynn. Welcome, John. RJ Redding. Bill Thomas. Welcome, Bill. Lawrence Talbert. Welcome. Michael Wright is here. Let's see who else we got. Rick from Drone Valley. Rick, I sent you an email, or I posted if you could send me an email to billthedronereviewer@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link. Okay. Let's see. Lawrence Talbert. Richard is here. Lauren is here. Let's see who else. My gosh. Dover Drone Photography is here. Johnny is here. RP Guy 4 is here. Wow, you guys really are packing the house out tonight. This is awesome. Let's see here. Casey Crime Fighter, welcome. Just trying. Joni Oki, welcome. John, okay, yeah. Ron's going to be joining us here in a little bit, and hopefully I'm getting somebody else on here as well, too. But again, don't forget that meetup that's coming up in Josh, if you want to post in the chat when it is, please feel free to do so. The dates. And Dr. Ted, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you, Josh. Josh, if you want to drop a link for the New England Drone Meetup in the chat so people can know that and access that, it's still not too late. Again, it's worth the price of admission. You're going to see Mark Fisher. Okay, that's in and of itself. That is entertainment in and of itself. Okay, bar none. Mark's one of the great guys that we have in the drone community. He is just so much fun to be around. The guy is a super blast. He's so much fun. Like I said, he's worth the price of admission, and he's a heck of a good drone videographer as well too. So you'll definitely want to go up there. Josh will be up there. CT Pirate will be there. I know Ray, a bunch of others will be there as well. Rick, if you get my message, if you can hear me, email me at billthedronereviewer@gmail.com, and I'll drop you a link for the show for tonight. Do have some things that we're gonna discuss, later on this week. Let's see Thursday. DJI is having a release. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. DJI is having some drones on sale right now. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Art, welcome. So that's kind of where we're at as far as that's concerned. Yeah. So we're doing real good. Ron's going to join me here in a little bit. Hope you guys were able to watch Drone Nation last night. That was a good show. Lot of great material. And there's all after the New England drone meetup, we're going to have the Vegas drone meetup in November here. So be looking forward to information about that. I know Bob's probably put out the website, and Bob, if you could drop the link in the description as well for that too. So I want to make sure everybody knows about that, and for somebody like me, for example, I have video already shot for the Sky Rover X1. I literally have not had time to put that together right now. My work schedule is just so absolutely off the wall, 55 plus hours a week right now. Yeah, it is absolutely crazy, just, wall to wall, Monday through Friday. I mean, it's just nonstop right now. And I barely have a second to breathe. Dale's drone, Josh will be dropping a link in the description for the New England drone meetup. So please go ahead and do that. And again, Rick, I don't have an email from you to billthedronereviewer@gmail.com. If you can email me, please go ahead and do that. Or if you have on Facebook Messenger, I can send that to you as well. Let me do this. I'm gonna send Ron something here. Yeah. I'm going to send a message to Ron real quick. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to talk a little. We're going to talk about a few things here, and hopefully, we're looking to possibly get Rick on tonight. So let's go with the first article that we're going to talk about here, and what little drones remain for Amazon. There's Ron. Hey, Ron, how are you, sir?
Good night, Bill. How are you tonight?
Good.
What are we talking about tonight?
Well, we got a lot to talk about, and Rick's actually in the chat, and I've asked him to email me at billthedronereviewer@gmail.com or send me a message on Rick. You can send me a message on Facebook Messenger as well, and I can drop you a link for that if you want to get on. That's would be the best way for me to get the link to you. Okay. The first thing I wanted to talk about this evening is, some of these drones that are on sale right now on Amazon. There's not a lot out there, but Drone XL put up an article. DJI Mini 4K drone sees rare Amazon Prime discounts amid shrinking U.S. availability. As much as $70 discount at there right now. Single battery kit is $249. 2 battery bundle with carrying case $329. Fly More combo with 3 batteries and charging hub $379. Those are some really good deals if you want to get them. I don't know if they're still good or not, but you definitely want to go ahead and check them out. Ron, that's pretty good, isn't it?
And those drones are already in the U.S., so you don't have to worry about customs or anything.
Exactly. That's an excellent point, Ron. And and it's with Amazon, so you're getting protected. So you'll get protection kind of both ways as far as that's concerned. So you're good. You're absolutely positively good as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, and this is of course, a great beginner drone or a budget drone, however you both things really. I'm going to say more of a budget drone, that beginner drone stuff, Bill. With DJI, whether you're flying the Mini 4K, or you're flying the Mavic, the Mavic Pro 4 or something, they all fly the same way. The DJI drones, it's the same app, same controls, same buttons or whatever. So there's really no beginner thing. I mean, if you can fly the Mini 4K, you can fly the Mavic 4 Pro. It's just a matter of budget.
Exactly. And that's the wonderful thing about it. And again, being able to have that on Amazon, with their return policy, that's golden right there. So, and it's in stock, it's not an inflated price. It's, in fact, there's a discount on it. So that's something definitely worth pursuing. I know, because I have the Spectre Mini, and it's really the same drone, and it performs flawlessly, absolutely flawlessly. I have absolutely no questions about how that does, Ron.
Any updates on Spectre? Are they going to continue to sell the drones they already have out?
They're told me they're waiting for them to get back in stock, was the last communication that I had with my contact at Spectre. And I haven't been out and looked at them on Amazon recently. Last I looked, they were still out of stock. They did have some batteries in stock, but both the drones, both the Spectre Mini and Spectre Air, were out of stock right now. But they did say they're still in business. They're waiting to get stock replenished. So, as soon as they get it replenished, they're going to let us know about that. So,
Bill, in the chat, Richard's letting us know that the Mini 3 is also on sale. Standard.
Yeah, Bill Thomas just put Drone Belly is back at Bill the Drone Reviewer. Okay, I don't know what you're meaning by that, Bill, but Ray Kelly, welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and okay, Rick Smith, I'm dropping this in the chat for you. Okay, and this is for you. There's a link to get in the show if you want to join us for tonight.
Since I've come on the air, Bill, I haven't seen Rick Smith in the chat since I've been on the show.
Yeah, he's been in the chat, so I wanted to drop that in there. I did email him here. Let's see here. Okay, he sent me an email. I'm gonna go ahead and okay. All right, Rick. I did send you the link, so you're welcome to join us here. So you have that now. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about here is let's see here. Okay. The DJI's oh, here's Rick. Hey, Rick.
Bill. Oh,
How are you?
Good. I'm so sorry.
Welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. I'm so sorry.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. You got it. You got it, Rick.
Now we got it. Rick, how have you been?
Oh, Rick, you get the wireless mic back out again. You just lost your audio.
We lost audio for you, Rick.
You had it. You had audio when you had like a.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So how have you been, Rick?
I'm getting a ton of feedback. I'm good, Bill. I'm just trying to figure out the feedback. Can you guys? Let me try and mute something here. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a second audio source going in somewhere.
Yeah, Bill, I'm getting a ton of echo, and I don't know why.
Did you mute YouTube?
I can hear his echo.
You may want to try muting YouTube, Rick.
Yeah, I'm so. Let me see. Maybe that's it.
Okay, Steve Jeanette, thank you for posting that link for the New England Drone Meetup. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. So Rick has a few little audio problems. We all have this where we get an extra sound source and we got that delay. It's hard to talk when you hear that delay in your ear. So
yeah, that is.
Come back here again.
Yeah, that is. I was just telling everybody, Ron. I have my film. I filmed everything for Sky Rover X1 for my first review for that.
Okay.
But my work schedule I've been 55, 60 hours a week right now.
Oh, wow.
And I literally weekends I have to exhale. I mean, I don't even have, have to run errands on weekends and stuff. And I do not have time to work on that. And that's very frustrating on my end.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's just, well, we've also too, the other thing is, I'm glad I shot it when I did. Here's Rick.
Hey, is that better?
Absolutely.
Perfect, Rick.
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry. Boy, the technology guy screwing up here. I don't know.
You'll have to fire that tech guy.
It's a brand new laptop. I opened the box literally 20 minutes ago, and I'm trying to get everything set up here in the studio. Wow. So I really apologize. So how are you guys doing? How's your night going?
Pretty good. I had successful major dental surgery back in May.
Okay.
Which was huge, but really I have implants and I'm going to be getting my permanent teeth next month, which I'm just elated. And I've been given clearance to eat real food now instead of just soft food. So,
well, yeah, I've noticed that Hollywood smile of yours on some of your videos.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, these are temps.
Yep.
And they're not really color coded or anything. So I'm going to look just like Brad Pitt right now. Of course, what can I say?
Yeah, I'll tune in for that one.
I'm sure my wife will as well too. So, I was just telling Ron, with my work schedule right now, I got the Sky Rover X1 and I took it out for its first flight, but I literally have not had, I'm working 55, 60-hour weeks. And I literally have not had a second. I filmed all of it. I don't have a second to get it together. I mean, it's just my work schedule is just so crazy right now. And, while I'm looking to try to retire next November, not this November, but next November. But it's just crazy. It's just, I'm more than ready to retire right now. I mean, if I hit the lotto, that's going to be my first thing is an email to my boss saying, I'm turning here's my laptop. Bye. See ya. I'm gone.
Well, that'll give us a little more time to fly together when I come down there to the Sunshine State next time. That'll be good.
Absolutely. And, one of the things, well, first of all, we have the DJI Mic 3 is coming up this week and it's going to be released on Thursday, I think. And, I have to say this, Rick, I think it's kind of anticlimactic because, everybody's saying, the big question is, is it going to come here in the United States? And as Ron pointed out, when DJI released the Osmo 360, that's the first camera that DJI has released that hasn't been released in the United States. So, it's going to be more of the same.
It is. Yeah, it is. You're, well, I talked about it a lot on the channel already, and I've been really deeply embroiled in it for the last, month and a half. I'm lucky that I have some contacts inside of DJI that I talk to on a regular basis. And I sat down with their some of their legal folks and their promotional folks. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but 3 or 4 months ago out west, there was an event and had a long conversation about what was coming and what we could expect. And this embargo that's there now is really causing a lot of problems for them because Customs has got marching orders that anything with the name DJI on it doesn't get into the country. So anything they make, their drones, their mics, their stabilized gimbals, the new vacuum cleaner that just released in China, brand new products that are coming in September that aren't mic related. And I don't want to tease you too much with that, but I've had hands on a lot of them. We're not going to see them in the States. So the reason I put that second clip up talking about be careful what you buy from Amazon is that it's kind of the Wild West right now. So you're finding a lot of sellers in China, in Malaysia, even in the US that have imported goods from another country that are shipping them. But the problem, as I said in the video, is that you're not getting a US warranty. So it's a buyer beware situation. The other thing is, even though it's a small parcel, it may get stopped at customs, because if they figure out that it's a DJI mic or a DJI drone, they're not allowed in. So imagine you've paid for this to somebody in Malaysia, they ship it, and it's held at customs and probably sent back to the shipper. So it's a really tough time for DJI. I've passionately talked about it on this channel quite a bit. I'm sure you guys are as frustrated as I am with the situation, because it's not, without getting political, it's not anything to do with any tangible data that's been produced or any real meaningful danger to the U.S. economy or danger to the U.S. population. It's all about pure protectionism, as I said on the channel. It's a group of lobbyists that have been hired by some politicians and some large American drone companies that are looking to eliminate as much competition as they can so they can pull all the chips their direction on the table. It's nothing more than that. And to me, I'm a proud American. I'm not going to get patriotic here, but I've always believed that in this country, if you compete fairly and you've got a better product at a better price, you should win the business, right? It shouldn't be about excluding people from that marketplace.
And
so
Rick,
I went on long there.
Rick,
Yeah.
in your recent video, you compared this a little bit to the steel industry, how America has a thriving steel industry, but Japan or China or one of those Asian countries was underselling them. So this protective is kind of protected an industry that was still here employing a lot of people. But as of right now, there is really no American drone industry providing consumer level drones. Only high military or high enterprise drones. So they're protecting an industry that doesn't actually exist yet.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that too, and that's a great point to bring up, is I understand tariffs, right? And I made the point that steel industry back in 78, 79, there was a ton of cheap steel coming from primarily China and other countries into the U.S. at bargain basement prices. They were producing more than they could use. The other countries they normally exported to didn't need it, and they kept the pipes flowing. So they were sending it to the U.S. and they severely undercut what the steel would cost the United States domestically. So there's a couple of different specific tariffs that a president can issue. The 232 is the one that Russ from 51 Drones was talking about. And that is an interesting one, but that has to do more with national security. And you can't really make the argument that, DJI drones are a national security threat when every other Chinese drone is getting in, right? So that one falls apart. But there's another one, 301 or 320, I forget the number, I can look it up, that is for financial danger to the country. And that's the one that I think will be applied to DJI. And what I mean by financial danger is if a product's coming into the States that can affect the financial market for that product. So let's say drones in general, and they're selling it for $100, but everybody else is building one that's $150. That's a financial threat for those businesses in the US. So I think the end state for it, one of the ways DJI gets out of this is that the legal thing's going to fall apart. I don't think there's any way they can make a case for that. So they'll probably get through the audit, but the president could impose, it's either a 301 or 320, and I apologize, I don't have it in front of me, but that specific financial threat tariff, which could be as much as 25, 30% on DJI drones specifically, not the other stuff, but the DJI drones, would raise the price of consumer drones, hobbyist drones, considerably. But I still feel, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but for me, I'm still going to buy the best product. And right now, DJI makes a product that's well ahead of anybody else. So I'll pay the extra $1 or $2 to get that product in my hands.
Well,
yeah,
one
argument drones, but and I really have no option because there's no American drone without a tariff to buy in its place.
Right. And here's the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about. And this probably should be another clip, but all the companies that are building drones in the U.S., all the American drone companies, are good friends over at Skydio. I love that company when that drone first came out. I could not talk enough about how much I was impressed with that technology. They have a Jetson chipset in there. They've got a neural network in that Skydio product. They were, from a crash avoidance and a crash awareness perspective, they were 6 or 7 years ahead of anybody out there with the trinocular vision.
Tracking also, Rick, from the tracking perspective, they're way ahead.
Phenomenal. It was absolutely a tremendously cool drone. It was built by two graduate students at MIT, so an engineer. I love those kind of nerdy people, but they've gone to the dark side. And the dirty little secret is The companies that are building the drones that are commercial specifically for the Defense Department have no interest in the consumer market, none whatsoever. Because selling to defense, I can build this drone with half as many features and charge 15 times what I can charge for that drone to a consumer. So they can charge $20,000 for a drone that should sell for $5,000 if it were a DJI drone. So there is no direct competition between DJI and anybody in the consumer drone market. So I would, if I were the king, and I'm not, but if I were king, I would say the minute DJI starts building larger commercial drones for the defense industry, that's a threat to American companies. At that point, slap a 301 on them and say, look, man, it's 50%, 100% more. You can compete, but it's got to be on a level playing field. But if you're talking about hobbyist drones, nobody builds a hobbyist drone of any importance at this point. I mean, these guys do. We could spend a lot of time talking about this. I've actually torn this down to the printed circuit board, so I've got a clip coming talking about how that drone compares to this drone, which is another familiar drone you guys are aware of. So there isn't, to your point, there isn't a company making consumer drones. Now you could argue that, you know, Potensic and a few other companies make kind of cool drones, right? I know you guys fly those, but they're not Mini 4 Pro caliber drones, not by a long shot. So.
You know, Rick, one of the things that, and I know Bill Thomas, and I might steal his thunder here just a little bit, is, you know, there's been a number of people who have purchased Mavic 4 Pros from over in South Korea, okay, on eBay, and it's been it's a reputable seller. You know, they've been able to register their drones here in the United States. But one of the things Bill Thomas has brought up recently too is that these drones don't have remote ID. And because of that, you know, that's, you know, technically that's illegal. I mean, you have to be able to fly with that. Now, Ron brought up a great point.
Modules, you can buy a module on Amazon for $50.
Yeah, you can buy those modules. One of the other things that I wanted to say is this, okay? This argument, as far as, you know, everybody, well, we need to promote American business, American industry, and everything, and you know, and no disregard to Russ from 51 Drones. He said, oh, we, you know, in a year or so we'll be fine. No, Russ, it's going to be a lot more than a year. If you want to see good consumer drones like the quality of DJI, that's going to be at least 4, 5+ years out. Okay. And the other thing is this, okay, you know, and you talked about the steel, and I really liked your talking about it because I came from the steel capital of the world, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Bill and I are both from Pennsylvania. I saw the American steel industry get ruined in the 80s by that.
And one of the things that the reason U.S. Steel got undercut was because of the outrageous labor agreements that they had with the steel workers. Okay, for example, my uncle who retired, he was a bricklayer for U.S. Steel, had 52 weeks vacation a year. Okay. He had accumulated that. All right.
Yeah.
They were outrageous. And that's why, you know, their prices, they were undercut, and they were undercut severely because of that. And the unions were the downfall of steel in America. Okay. I'll say that right now. All right.
Yeah.
Totally. And it decimated Pittsburgh because 3/4 of the economy of the city of Pittsburgh was from steel. And it really decimated them. So, and conversely here with drones, okay, you know, the whole myth and the whole argument about the security concerns and everything that we keep getting parroted by Elise Stefanik and Rick Scott from the senator from Florida, our governor here, DeSantis, everything. They're all towing this line about security, which, you know, it's a load of horse manure, okay? Because, you know, we all know there's no such thing. And this whole thing about having to do an audit, all right, the audit's already been done. I mean, there was a big, I think it was Price Waterhouse. They did an audit at DJI, and they came out clean. I mean, Price Waterhouse, my gosh, a big 8 accounting firm, all right, you know.
Yeah, it's even more to me. It's even more insidious than that, because when you talk about the security aspects of it, like, I really do study this stuff, right? And I have to come in with an open mind. I am definitely a guy who wants to hear both sides of the argument, and then I sit down and think about what somebody has said and how that applies to the technology. And the honest truth, there's 8 or 9 different ways that argument falls apart. You know, it's are you going to trust a random drone flying around the countryside, capturing some footage that you think may be important, even if they got it right and they were flying outside of a nuclear plant? How do I get that data back to China, right? I've got to upload that data. So that means you got to trust me to download it to my, look how much trouble I had getting on the webcam tonight. I got to download the data to my computer. I got to send it to my friend in China. Like, it's insane to talk about that when you have satellites that can read the writing on a golf ball from space. You can use those to get all the details you need. So that argument's nonsense. And that's why I said, I'm sure they're going to pass the security audit. They've already done 3 independent audits on their own where they brought in companies. And I spent a lot of time talking to them about one of them. I said, well, you know, if I'm the devil's advocate in this conversation, I'm going to say, oh, sure, you passed the audit because you gave me a jacked up machine that you took all the scary stuff out of. And they said, well, that's not how we did the audit. We basically said to them, walk into any retailer you want, buy 2 drones. We don't care where you go where you want to go. Just buy 2 drones, we'll reimburse you, and run the tests on those drones. So that company went into a Best Buy and bought 2 drones from DJI off the shelf, took them to their labs, did the testing. They found 0 defects as far as security holes in the DJI ecosystem. It was funny because the one hole they found was part of the Android OS, which leaked stuff from the application, but it was Android, it wasn't DJI. But and I read through the reports. The report was like a 95-page report. They came up clean. So I'm sure they're going to pass the security audit, but somehow those politicians need a way to make sure that DJI doesn't get into the Defense Department. They don't really want them in the commercial space either, because some of those drones that are built for defense can be dual purpose for, you know, farming and surveying and things like that. You know, and again, at the end of the day, going back to your steel argument, to me, it doesn't matter why stuff's more expensive here. I mean, you're going to run a business. I run a business. I have to keep my prices reasonable. And if that means I make less money next year, I make less profit on a product I'm selling, then so be it. But I have to be competitive. But if another company is going to ship something into the country at an unrealistic price because their labor costs are cheaper, the regulations are less, the standard of living is lower, and I can't fairly compete with it, maybe that's a point for a tariff to say, look, let's level the playing field so that this product costs me $1. When they ship it in, it costs them $1 as well. And then we can decide what the profit should be. So that's why I think that 301, I think it's 301 or 320. I'm sorry, again, tariff will be placed specifically on that category. But I'm still going to be upset there because, as we mentioned, nobody makes a consumer drone like DJI. So leave the hobbyist alone. Leave that under 250 grams alone. Leave the smaller drones like maybe a Mavic 4 Pro or an Air 3. Leave them alone. Maybe you put that on their commercial drones like the Matrice series or maybe even the Inspires that are being used for professional things. But I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're right. Any drone under $1,000 is no threat to any business in America.
No. And there's no market there. It'd be different if like Panasonic had a drone or Apple had a drone, right? And China's shipping drones in that are half the price. Okay, you've got a problem. That's legitimate. But I mean, Skydio was in, they got out. Autel was in, they're getting out. Parrot was in, they got out. Right. You guys remember GoPro? GoPro was in, they ran for the hills.
Yeah.
Sony got in, but they only want to get in at the high end where the Inspire series is. So nobody's going to get there. Now, I do have two other ways I think DJI gets out of this. And I haven't talked about these in the channel yet, so I'm working on clips around them. I'll tell you about them if you want. I don't want to. I'm occupying a lot of your night.
Absolutely, go for it.
We would love to hear it.
All right. So one way I think they get around it. Well, there's actually 2 ways. The first way I think they get around it is they just swallow hard and build a damn factory in Texas. And I say Texas on purpose because there's a lot of political heat out there right now. You mentioned Florida. That's one of those hotbed arguments around DJI. Texas is another one. Plus, it's centrally located. So you drop, I don't know, $500 million. You can build a factory. You've got a factory in the U.S. You're building a U.S.-based drone. You can ship it across the country cheaply. And there's your answer. And I mentioned that to them when I talked to them out there in Vegas. And they were like, oh, it's expensive. Well, what's the tariff going to cost you now? For every drone you bring in, if it's a 50 or 75% tariff, you're spending the money anyway, so build it there. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but everybody talks about China-made drones. DJI's main facility for building drones isn't in China. It's in Malaysia. It's right down the street from Insta360 and GoPro and all the other companies that are sending gear to the U.S. None of those guys are affected by this because all they care about are the drones. So I find it interesting that they're a Chinese company, there's an embargo, but it's not being shipped from China, it's being shipped from Malaysia. So that's interesting. All right. So the first way they get out of it is build a factory. The second way they get out of it.
Rick, that was Honda and Toyota's solution to the tariffs in the late 70s, early 80s, when they tried to put that in them because they were selling cheaper cars than U.S. car makers. They both built factories in the U.S., just like you described, and they solved that whole problem.
Right. And it's not going to be cheap. I mean, building a drone here is probably going to raise the price by 50%, because again, it's American label, it's skilled labor, it's going to be probably unionized eventually. There's going to be costs to building a factory, running a factory. But if they can't get into the country any other way, let's say the ban goes into effect and they can't actually import anything, then they got to build in the States. So that would be one way. I think there's two other easier ways. One would be partner. Find a partner. I put a clip up 6 or 7 years ago when DJI was just getting started right after the Phantom 3 came out. And the clip was kind of clickbaity, but I wanted to make this point. I said, is Apple buying DJI? Because remember, Apple was selling their drones in their stores for a while. That relationship, and it was a white drone, a white controller, like a white power supply, like everything was starting to look Apple-ish. And I thought they could snap them up for, I don't know, a couple $100 million. Apple's already into the high resolution photography. They've already got high speed connections. They run applications. So to me, it looked like a marriage made in heaven. I could see DJI, if they're not going to build a factory, partnering with a major company. So maybe they go with Samsung. Maybe they go with somebody that's friendly to the U.S. Apple would be a good partner because Apple's throwing money at Trump and throwing money at political organizations. That would give them a lot of credo. So maybe the second way they get out of this is they partner with somebody, right? And they build a drone that's got DJI technology inside, but it's Apple branded. That might be a good solution for them. I don't know if they're going to want to do that, but when you think about their stabilized gimbals, their wireless microphones, their drones, everything they've got fits into that market of either Samsung or Apple or Sony. Any of those companies would snag that, put a partnership together, and they may be working on something like that right now. But if I were King over there, if I were Mr. Wang, I would seriously consider those two options. Then the third way they do it is like this, right there. They they license technology to another company to build a drone that doesn't have a DJI logo on it anywhere. Now, you guys know about Anzu Robotics, right? That green one that spray painted the matrices green and released it as an Anzu Robotics. They're not getting any grief. That's a DJI drone, 100%. This isn't 100% DJI, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from the clip, but it's a very close cousin to the Mini 4 Pro. It's not an exact clone, but there is a ton of licensing in that drone. And that's not outrageous because when you think about DJI, when they build this drone, the Mini 4 Pro, they don't make the sensor. They don't make the imaging package. They don't actually make the batteries. Those are third party. There's other components inside here that they don't make either. So it isn't quite a Heath kit because they're going to take off the shelf components and Bill Urin software, and they're going to write their own algorithm for object detection and crash avoidance. And they're going to improve the imaging package to give us higher resolution images from that sensor. But it is a collection of parts from other companies. They're not vertically integrated. The only electronic company I know of today that I think is mostly vertically integrated is Sony, because they don't follow anybody, man. I used to work on Sony gear. They build everything from the ground up. So they could license a lot of their IP, a lot of their technology, probably to companies in the US that are going to build drones for that market. There's a lot of money in that IP licensing. So maybe they turn into an IP generating machine, right? Sell their drones everywhere but the US and license into the US. So a couple of ways they could get out of this, but I just hope we sort it out because I'm so frustrated because it's happening right in front of us. And that's the thing I can't get past.
Well, Rick, I have the Spectre Air and the Spectre Mini. And I've been in touch with them. I seem to have a good rapport and a good relationship with them. A lot of people said, "Oh, they're 6 feet under, they're dead." No, they're not. They did send me an email to say, we're still here. We're just waiting to get drones restocked in the United States. And Amazon's the only place that they're sold. And then, in fact, they sent me a Spectre Air to review, which I did. They sent me a Spectre Mini to review, which I did. And people love the Spectre Mini. But the only problem was, for a long time, was getting additional batteries for both of these drones, okay? Those were absolutely in short supply. But everything else, I mean, the look and the feel of the app, okay, it is almost, you almost want to say if I gave you that controller, you'd say that's a DJI app. It looks just like the Fly app. And really the sounds, everything is carbon copy for that. I mean, it really is. And it works real well. Just the only thing is you don't see DJI listed anywhere on that. On neither of them.
You know what I found interesting about the Sky Rover? There's no branding on this either. Did you notice that? It doesn't have a single branding, not anywhere on the drone, on the batteries, anywhere. It's just completely, don't ask who made this. Don't ask us any questions. Just buy the drone.
A generic drone, huh?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. You guys have flown this Sky Rover. I think it's a fantastic product.
Oh, I do too.
I don't say that often, but it's every bit a Mini 4 Pro. From my perspective of my testing, everything about it, the crash avoidance, the return to home accuracy, just a phenomenal drone. The image quality, but it's not quite a Mini 4 Pro. Like if you look at the application that they give you, it's very similar to what DJI's got with their DJI Fly app, but it won't resize. So if you use it with a tablet, screen stays the same phone size. So it's there, but it's a couple of generations back. There's some stuff missing in there. And I think if I'm being honest, I think what DJI did was to say, maybe we have a new Mini coming. I'm not going to say anything positive or negative about that, but let's pretend they have a Mini 5 coming. And I'm pretending here. I got to get rid of all my boards, motors, electronics, landing gears of my Mini 4 Pro because I got shelves full of them and I can't get them into the States. Can I find a partner in Malaysia someplace, which, by the way, that's where they're located, to take what I've got, tweak it just enough to get rid of all that excess parts and inventory, paint it yellow, and offer it up on Amazon, right? Don't worry about the accessories because you can't buy batteries yet or charging hubs or any of that. But let's just move our inventory out. So that's, I think, what happened with this particular product. And I only bought it because I wanted to test the hell out of it because so many people are asking, what do you think of the drone? Right now, if you're looking for a Mini and you're looking for the best Mini that you can get your hands on, Mini 4 Pro. But if you can't, this product at that price, phenomenal value.
Yeah, the price right now is discounted on Amazon. I think the drone by itself with one battery and the controller were like $675. I mean, that's a great price for that. And I agree with you. I mean, the other thing I want to add on to that was I was impressed with the range of this drone too, as well. I mean, I did not lose. And I did something stupid. Like I had my back turned. I shouldn't have done that for a minute. And I figured, I'm going to get signal loss. No, there was no signal loss. You know, I was too busy talking to the camera and filming my clip and not really paying attention. No signal loss. I mean, it was crystal clear, no problem at all. And I was really impressed with that. Well, you know, one thing that I do have to say, Rick, and I think Ron would probably agree with me as well too. I think we've gotten really spoiled with our you know, Mini 4 Pro and the ones that have the controllers with the built-in screen. Okay.
Yeah.
We're really spoiled with that because I tell you, I was telling Ron this, you know, having to hook up the phone to the Sky Rover controller. Okay. You know, I'm sorry, you know, I'm spoiled. I don't want to have to hook up the cable. I don't want to have to do all that, you know. I just want to be able to turn it on and go. And it's not like that.
We're sounded elitist by saying stuff like that, but
I know.
But I agree with you. I feel like I went back a couple of years where I had to hook up the phone and the cable and plug it in. But I don't know. It flies really well. I like it. I would have loved to seen a remote from them. My suspicion, though, with the Sky Rover is it's a one and done. Unless this embargo carries on, I think it's a one and done for them. I think what you've got there are whatever's left from the Mini 4 Pro stock that's been put back together into this Frankenstein, new case, new color. But if you look at it, I mean, come on, you guys have compared them side by side. Look at the LEDs on the buttons are exactly the same. The micro card USB in the back is the same. I'll even tell you the battery. You can take a Mini 4 Pro, actually a Sky Rover battery, and charge it in a Mini 4 Pro charging hub. So what's that tell you? So they changed it just enough where it's, you know, not infringing. It's not really a DJI drone, but for all intents and purposes, under the covers, and I pulled the covers off, it's a Mini 4 Pro.
Well, you know, what's real interesting, Rick, is, you know, like with the RC Pro 2, all right, that a lot of people, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Marcus ordered one.
Right.
And I don't know, Ron. He hasn't gotten that yet, has he?
He ordered his from that South Korean seller, the one everybody gets the Mavic 4 from. I can't think of the store's name, but it was supposed to come as of like Monday, and it hadn't even shipped yet. So Marcus was trying to cancel the order.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'd be curious as to he does a lot of. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill, I interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm struggling with the Mavic 4 Pro as well. I mean, I got a chance to look at it early before it was ever teased about, and I was blown away by it. I think it's hands down the most sophisticated drone ever flown for me. I mean, it just the way the camera rotates, the ability of sensing its distance, its image capture quality. It's just it's literally 5 years ahead against anything else. But
right.
I struggle with, do I really need all that? Like I got the Mavic 3 Pro, phenomenal drone. I got the Air 3S, phenomenal drone. Like what is the difference? The delta is getting so small on the upgrades that for me, I don't know. I don't think I need it at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Rick, for years we've been incremental changes over the last, say, 3 to 5 years, where the new versions is incrementally better than the generation before. I mean, if it's one thing on a new drone you need that you think can make you more money, if you're a professional, then that would maybe pay for it. But if you're just a hobbyist, it's tough to rationalize how this new drone is going to improve the quality of my photos I take, the videos I take, or
right.
Anything that justify the cost.
Yeah. The one thing they didn't put on it, which I really was disappointed on, the prototype I saw had the digital ND filters.
Right.
And that wasn't released. I don't know why they held back on that. I don't know whether they got pressure from Freewell and all the rest of the filter manufacturers or what happened.
Well,
but
Rick, you talked about that margin being so thin. For me,
yeah.
I ended up selling my Mavic 3 Pro, and the reason I did is because the Air 3S is doing everything I want and then some. I mean, it's just and right now the Mavic 4 Pro, it really doesn't interest me. I mean, because the Air 3S and what it does. Now, like Marcus, I'm real interested in the DJI RC Pro 2. Okay.
Right.
That's something that does pique my interest.
Why are you so hot? Why are you so hot on that? What's the big upgrade for you?
Well, for me, especially, in the sun here in Florida, okay, we have a unique challenge based upon, the people from the great state of New Jersey. Okay. That sun is so bright down here. And, we need something with like a high nit concentration on it. And, I know that RC Pro 2 has that. And also too, having the ability, you flip the screen and then boom, the drone responds. And,
Rick, it's an old guy thing. The screen is like 8 inches bigger than the RC2, and the screen is a lot brighter. So as old guys can go out in the sunlight and actually see our FPV feed without control.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm older than both you guys, and I understand. I understand what you're saying. I guess for me, I'm always finding shade anyway. I'm always trying to pull the hat down a little bit, or sneak under a tree to find some shade, even with the brighter screen. So
Rick,
I don't know.
Right, but what you're forgetting is people like Bill and Marcus. They want to be the star of their own videos. They have to stand out in the middle of the sun to be the stars of the video. They can't hide in a tree. I'm the same as you. I always find a shady spot, but I don't always need to be the star of the video.
Well, I don't know. I think, Bill, it's a cool controller. Again, I saw that. I like the way that when you put the screen down, the sticks fold back. I like the way you can flip the screen, like you'd mentioned. The camera follows you. So I do like it a lot. I think once all this nonsense stops and DJI gets back on a regular release schedule, I really want to understand what that RC2 Pro is compatible with. Because if they say, okay, look, it's the brand new controller, it's probably the controller for the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to make it compatible with the Flip, the Neo, the Mini 4 Pro, the Air 3S, and the next generation of quads, then it makes perfect sense. But if it's going to be parochial and only Mini 4 Pro and maybe Mavic 4 Pro, I don't know if it's worth the investment.
Right now, Rick, it's Air 3S, Air 3, Mini 4 Pro, and Mavic 4 Pro. So it's 4 drones right now. Okay, good. Well, add the Neo and I'm in. Add the Neo to it. I love that Neo. I don't know if you guys fly that, but man, this is a cool drone. I'm having so much fun with that guy. Everybody loves the Neo, Rick, and it's kind of taken some of the air out of the follow me market, because like in our community, in our old guy drone community, nobody buys the $1,000 Hover X1 Pro. They all buy the $200 Neo instead because they don't need 8K. And that drone, it flies as good with the controller as it does, but that little Neo flies great with the DJI controller. It flies great with the FPV gear. It's the most versatile drone anybody's ever made, Rick.
It's when this first came out, I've said this on the channel more than once. When this thing first hit, I had it early. Like I get lucky sometimes and they send me stuff. So I had this one early, and when it arrived, I was heading up to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan on a vacation with my wife. And I said, we can't leave until the drone shows up, and then we'll head up to Michigan. So the drone showed up. And if you've ever been on the Great Lakes up there, it was my first trip up to that area. That wind off the Great Lakes is 50, 60 miles an hour every day, all day. And yet, so I had this thing out over the Great Lakes trying to fly it. And I'm telling you, in the wind, it was like all over like this. But the video was rock solid. It could handle the wind. Like, I was blown away by the capabilities. And then started flying at FPV, and it's so much fun, so for the money, man, that's a cool drone. I had it out this morning. I was out flying this morning with it over at the park. I just love it. I think it's great.
And I have to admit, I'm one of those people. I dismissed it when I first saw it, but when you actually get it and fly it yourself, it changes your mind really fast.
Yep. I agree with you too about the X1. This is Hover. Like, I like the company a lot. I've met the founder and talked to their engineering team. I think they're on to things, but they're trying to build drones that are not copies of other drones. So they've got, they came out with the original Hover, which was kind of a cool drone, that selfie drone. I like that a lot, the white one. Then they came out with this one. I went to the launch event in New York City for this one, and they were really going on and on about, the 8K, and it does this and that. And I'm like, it's too expensive. Like, it's cool, but it's got to be $200 less. And now they're coming out with a new Aqua, which is a water-based drone, which is basically this with floaties on it, and you throw it in the water and it can take off and it'll go around the boat and stuff. But the retail price on that one, I think it's like
the Indiegogo starts at $9.99 for the
you're not going to. I told him on the call, I go, you're not going to sell that drone at $1,000. It's not going to happen. Maybe a guy who's got a surfboard is going to get it and fly it twice, but it's not functional enough to. If you had that drone out at $499, even $599, maybe you'd get some business for it, but it doesn't have a control. It's got the controller, the beacon, but I don't know. But they don't want to hear it. And I'm just thinking, all right, that may be dead on arrival based on the price. So we'll have to see.
Ron and I said the same thing. I struggle to find a use case for that drone. Okay, there's really unless you're a water.
It's a very niche product.
Yeah, water sports enthusiast. It's not for you. You're not. Well, why get it? I mean, it's not.
Yeah. I don't know what the marketing team were thinking there, because if you look at the U.S., right, how much of the U.S. has actually got water they're going to spend time in, right? There's a huge swath of the U.S. Yeah, they're not going to sell a ton of it. And even if you're in the water, like I'm in a kayak a couple of times a month out in the bay. I'm out in the bay paddling around. I love it. So for me, I'm going to have fun, throw it in the water. It'll do a couple of selfies and take some pictures and stuff. But terrestrially, I don't need it. Like, I'm not going to use it when I'm out of the water. So I don't get the pricing on it. And I want to pick on it too bad. I guess I already have, because I'm hoping to get a test unit. So it looks like a great product. I think it'll be phenomenal.
I mean, I live just a couple blocks from the ocean, but my surfing days are over with, or whatever, at my age. So I mean, I don't need to follow me or track me in the ocean.
Yeah, I don't see the market for it. It's too niche at that price, especially. And again, $499 maybe. Okay, it's an expensive toy, but I could see people using it, but not at $1,000. It's too much. It's too expensive.
Rick, I'm going to pose a hypothetical question to you. Okay, supposedly, let's say a drone like a Mini 5 Pro comes out in September next month. Okay, hypothetically speaking, I think Ron and I have kind of talked about it and discussed it. I think it could break sales records for DJI as far as what we've read, from Drone XL and from Jasper Ellens and everything. It really sounds like it's really going to be almost, I hate to call it the perfect drone, but it's really going to be pretty darn close.
Bill, let me bring one flying limit up. If Bill Thomas is correct about the remote ID issue with the Mavic Pro 4, will this have the same remote ID issue in the U.S.?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it could be. Could very well be. But back to your question, I think it's gonna break sales records. I mean, I want one immediately. Most people that fly the Mini 4 Pro want one. The bigger sensor is really attractive, because that's the one drawback to the Mini 4 Pro if I'm doing any kind of commercial work. But what this does for me that the Air 3 doesn't do is it's quiet and it's unobtrusive. So if I'm doing filming around a home, I don't have neighbors coming looking for me because there's a drone in their backyard, you know, because when you're doing a house, you got to pull back. Maybe you're over somebody's backyard for 30 seconds or something, and they see it and they're like, oh, I got to get that drone guy. You put the Mini 4 Pro up, you guys know it's quiet, it's unobtrusive. People don't even know it's up there. So the Mini 5 Pro, if there is such a thing, and I don't know if there is, I really don't, that 1-inch sensor is going to make all the difference. That gives me a professional drone and a sub 249. That's a home run.
Now, I'm going to ask you another hypothetical here too, okay? Let's say it's available from sellers, and I think a lot, and I'm just going to back up here a minute. I think a lot of the reason that people are buying them from South Korea and Japan is that they have a favorable trade status with the United States, okay?
Yep.
There's no tariff imposed on buying goods.
Yeah, but Bill, for example, you can get a Mavic 4 Pro combo from South Korea on the right day for like $3,600. The ones that got released on Amazon.com this weekend were like $5 grand.
Yeah. Well, you got people arbitraging there. You know, they're buying them somewhere and then they're bringing them in and they're throwing them up on Amazon or eBay trying to make $1,000 or $2,000 on a drone because nobody has them, right? So
exactly.
I won't play that game. I don't want to encourage those guys. I'm not going to feed the bears. I'm not doing it. I'd rather not fly it.
Here's my hypothetical to you, Rick. You know, if there is a Mini 5 Pro and it does come out and it's available in South Korea or Japan at what we consider probably a close to a retail price, is that a drone you consider purchasing?
I'm driving to Canada. I'm close enough.
Okay.
I am. And I know other guys did that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know for a fact, but I think Drobo and Billy probably made a road trip up and picked up Mavic 4 Pro.
That they did that. Rumors
My lips are sealed on that.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Rumors are that Russ from 51 Drones did the same thing as well too. So
yeah. So I didn't think the Mavic 4 Pro for me had enough of a draw. Like I was talking to DJI about it, and I can tell you that for exhibition, because they normally get, you know, a pile of them that they send out to certain reviewers. If you're lucky, I'm sometimes lucky, sometimes I'm not lucky. I talked to them a lot about that Mavic 4 Pro because again, I saw it really early, and I'm like, I need to get my hands on this. This is an epiphany. And they had in the U.S. because of the embargo, I think they had 6 or 8. And some of them they lent out, I think, to a professional shoot, and they crashed one of them. So they were down to like 7 of them available. So I didn't get my hands on it, but I will be banging them on the Mini 5 Pro if there is such an animal. I hear other things too. I mean, you guys have heard the rumors about a new Neo, right? That'd be kind of cool.
It's already got its FCC license.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. So we'll have to see what's coming.
What do you think they could do to improve the Neo? Better camera quality, of course, would be the first thing you'd think of, right?
I don't know, man. I've given up trying to predict because they keep making a left turn and surprising me with stuff, right? This I'm telling you, I know I said it before. This guy blew me away. I looked at it. I'm like, they built a toy drone going for the market, you know, the sub $200 market. That's every bit a reasonable, rational, professional drone that people can fly. It's not as good as a Mini 4 or a Mavic, but man, it's got such capability. It's so stable in the air and it flies so smoothly. Just phenomenal.
And that's a drone. It's no threat to the U.S. market. Nobody in the U.S. wants to make a $199 drone.
Nope, they're not building it. They can't do it. The economy scale doesn't provide for it. Now, you asked about the Mini mic coming. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
For me,
I know they released the Mic Mini. What about in the last year? A much smaller version of the Mic 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I'm using. I'm using that.
But of course, it sacrificed things like the internal recording, 32-bit float. So I mean, I imagine this Mic 3 is going to incorporate the size of the Mic Mini with the more professional features of the Mic 2. So it's kind of satisfied kind of everybody.
I think they're going the other direction. That'd be my 2 cents. I think what they built was the Mic 2 had the internal recording. This one, the smaller one, they went for size, but they didn't have the internal recording. It's mostly for like vloggers and like doing this type of stuff. I think the next one probably won't have a DSLR receiver. I think what you're going to see with this next generation is they're going even deeper into the lower cost vloggers, where it'll come with just a USB-C receiver or maybe an Apple receiver and the mic. That'll be it. So there'll be no way to get it connected to a DSLR. And I'd be shocked if it was more than $60 for the set. So they're going.
A good point, 'cause a lot of people bought the Mic 3. They just got the Mic 3 only. They didn't get any of the receiver part or anything like that because they weren't interested in any of that. They just wanted to like Bluetooth it to a phone or something. And
Right.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it's going to be Bluetooth, right? It's not, the quality's not that great. And at $60, I'm not trying to promote our stuff, but I got one here that'll do the same thing for $30, right? So where are you going with that, right? It doesn't make sense to go down. They have to go up. I would like to see them go up with their quality, but I can't pick on any of their gear. I really mean that. Maybe the Flip a little bit. And I only say that because the Flip, because of its size and the way those baffles are set up on the props, it's it's wicked in the wind. If there's any wind at all, man, it's a slave to the wind. I mean, it flies great, wonderful selfie drone, but you get that up in the air and there's any wind, it's following the wind. It's really tough to keep that stable.
And DJI doesn't release sales figures, of course, but it just seems based on the community and posts and stuff I see that wasn't a very successful drone for DJI in the U.S. market. It didn't seem to really hit with much impact here.
Yeah, you asked me the hard question about what I'd pick on. That would be the only drone they've released that I've really been lukewarm on. But I still fly it. I had it out, I don't know, last weekend, so I still fly it.
Well, I was going to say, as far as the Mic 3 is concerned, Rick, I have been so pleased with the Mic 2. I have no need to even think about looking at a Mic 3 right now.
Stick with it. It's great.
I'm not about the size of the Mic 2 because I have the DJI, what do you think, the lanyard mic or whatever. So if that mic's too big, clip in your belt and then put the little lanyard thing on it, whatever. That's smaller than the Mic 3 or Mic Mini or whatever. So I don't.
The Mic 2 is awesome. And when you compare it to like what Rode's building, they still got the big, clunky square thing. I mean, I don't know why they're not jumping on. Now, there are smaller ones. There's a ton of companies. I did a review on one last week where it's actually a combination mic where it's sort of a tube that the mics fit in. So the housing, they slide in this tube and you can use it as an interview mic, or you can pull these little transmitters out and put them on. And they're about the size of like a Tic Tac. I mean, they're tiny, but the quality's not, it's not this. This quality is phenomenal on this mic, the mics from DJI.
And it's the 360. They just released a mic just in the past month. That's a mic like that has an FPV screen to see the feed of like the X5 or whatever. But it was a combination. I think the mic had some pretty high quality features in it too. So I mean, people are doing a lot of creative stuff with wireless mics, and that's great because we've had kind of iffy audio in the drone community for a long time. So it's nice that DJI and other companies like Insta360 are kind of leveling up and providing us good ways to get wireless audio.
Yep, I agree. So let me ask you guys a question because you're asking a lot of questions.
Sure.
If you had to pick your favorite drone you're flying right now, what would it be? Bill, you go first.
Air 3S. I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, same for me. Air 3S.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the same camp. My Mavic 3's been on the shelf for, I don't know, the last 3 months. That Air 3S does everything I need. It's a gorgeous drone.
And that's the big reason why I sold mine, Rick. Same thing for me. My Mavic 3 Pro was sitting collecting dust. I mean, it was like every time I go out, it's the Air 3S that's coming out.
Rick, it's a simple breakdown at camera-wise. The Mavic, any of the Mavic 3s are better. The Mavic 3 Pro has got the bigger sensor, whatever. But outside the better camera, the Air 3S beats it in every other way. Flight time, signal strength, speed, all those intelligent features, whatever. The only thing the Mavic 3 series has is that bigger main wide-angle camera is the 4/3 that does 5K. Yeah,
when that 3S came out, my first thought was they're shutting down the Mavic line. We're gonna have a sub 250 and a mid-size, and that's it. Because it was like, oh man, this is sweet. This is a sweet drone. And even the Mavic 3, the Air 3 was great. So I like them both. I want to
go back to what you said about your three options that you're seeing about DJI. Okay.
Yep.
And I've always said something, and I keep saying that, and a lot of people just kind of dismiss it, but sort of a fourth option, but you kind of alluded to it, is what if somebody like Apple or Samsung or Sony will just outright buy DJI? Okay, totally lock, stock, and barrel. Relocate them to either Japan or the U.S. or wherever. Do you think something like that could happen?
But Frank maybe doesn't want to sell.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They're too big. It's too big a bite. That'd be billions of dollars. It wouldn't be. I mean, they're in too many things, and I can tell you, without getting into detail, the market, their market penetration for technology is only going to get bigger because they're moving into, well, I can talk about some of it. They're moving into portable power stations. I've done reviews on their Power 500, 1000, 2000. They have more products coming there. They're going to step that up to be a whole home system.
And Rick, how do their power stations stock up against the other top competitors in the market?
Yeah, I review them all. So I review Anchor, EcoFlow, all the major companies, Blue Eddy. If you're a drone flyer, you want to own a DJI power station. For starters, because of this software-defined charging port, which allows you to charge your drone batteries faster. But even if you're not a drone guy, that power station, two things really excel. It's quiet. It's whisper quiet. They've done a really good job with passive air cooling on it. So if you're running any kind of CPAP machine or something, you got to sleep near it, you're in a tent, you can't even hear it. It's that quiet. The second thing it's really good for is an uninterruptible power supply, because if you have it in line with your computer and you lose power at home, it snaps into play in microseconds. It's not, all the others are like 10, 15. That's like 3. I mean, it's instant. So you're not going to lose anything. And price wise, I don't know how they're selling them as cheap as they are. I mean, they're not cheap, but that 2000, I think right now is less than $1,000. I mean, they've really come down in price. Right. And I will say, because I've torn that one apart, it's all DJI engineering under the hood. And that's not true of the other ones. There are so many out there that if you look at them, you'll see the displays are similar, the charging circuit, the protection circuit, very similar technology. So there's a lot of that cross-pollination going on between companies in that space. So stick with the brand name. Yeah. But I like them. I like them a lot. And then, you know, you heard about the robotic vacuum cleaner they released, right? I saw that early. And my one suggestion with them on that one is they made it clear. Like the whole case is clear. I don't want to see pet hair and gunk and mud and stuff on the, I don't want to see it on the make it opaque, make it white or make it gray. Don't make it clear. But
well, you know, Rick, one of the I had a Roomba back in the a few years ago, and the big problem, 2 problems I found with that was, one, that bin got filled up really quickly. Okay. On it itself. All right. And there was no, you had to clean it out manually. There was no, you know, whatever, as far as that was concerned. And then as far as programming was concerned, had to have these beacons that you would place around the house, okay, for it to go. And it was just, but the real thing was, I mean, we had hardwood floors, and then to go up, it struggled just going up on our area carpet, okay, just to get up over that lip. It struggled to do that. The only good use case that I found for that was to vacuum under our bed, okay, because it didn't accept. Everywhere else, forget it. It was just, you know, it's the same thing. It's inherent, you know, and I know, you know, I think it has an automatic. It goes back and it dumps its load and then it comes back and all that stuff again. But still, I mean, I think it's, to me, they got to really improve on that for me to look at. All right, so
I think they've gotten a lot better. So one thing I forgot to mention to you is, if you're going to make me name a company that I think could end up, if this thing falls apart for DJI, I think the one partner they may get engaged with, you guys remember the name Anchor, right? Make power supplies and cables.
Oh, yeah.
All right. They've started an entire new line of products under the Eufy brand, EUFY, Eufy. You probably heard that name and didn't even know that that's Anchor. So Eufy builds home security cameras. They make chargers. They make portable power stations. They make robotic vacuum cleaners. So I reviewed one of their latest robotic vacuum cleaners. That's a wet, dry kind of a vacuum. The thing is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's got LiDAR on the front of it. It'll memorize the house. I can, from my phone, say, go clean the den. It'll go in the den and knows the den only vacuums and doesn't mop. But if it goes to the kitchen, it'll mop. It's phenomenal, Bill. It fixes all the problems you're talking about. And then it goes back. It'll refill itself with liquid. It'll pull out all the junk that it vacuumed up. So they're getting a lot better. But I see a marriage there between Eufy and DJI as something that could work. So who knows? Maybe we'll see that.
That's a really good point, Rick. I'm excited. You know, and I've been saying this, and one of the things I kind of want to close with is this, okay? There's a lot of money on the table for DJI. I mean, a lot of money out there, okay?
You can't imagine.
A lot of people have been very frustrated. A lot of my viewers have been real frustrated. Like, why is DJI not really doing anything? Okay. And I'm telling people, I'm saying, look, okay, do you think Frank Wang is sitting up in his office, you know, twiddling, you know, playing an electronic game right now. No, they're busy, they're strategizing, they're working on this. Okay, this is something that because it's costing the money, but they want to make money. Okay,
Yeah.
and they want to figure a way to get out over this hump. And I've told people this. And I said my thing was, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I think there'll be a favorable decision at the end of the year for DJI. And I think,
agree.
and it was in line with what you said about, and I said, not so much the consumer drones will be the victims here. It will be the commercial type drones, the Matrices, the Inspires, and
Yep.
maybe some of the agricultural ones, as far as tariffs are concerned. But for consumer goods, I don't think it's really going to hit. And you really kind of nailed that tonight. You really did a great job with
No,
that.
I agree, and I also think they're going to get out of this. And I can tell you from talking to them, there are people in tears over there, because the U.S. is, by any estimate, between 30 and 40% of their worldwide business. And we are also quicker to buy stuff than other regions. Other regions wait and they think about it and they delay it. The U.S., they snap stuff up the day it's released. We're like the Apple fans, where we got to get the gear. So not being able to release a Mavic 4 Pro, the Insta360 or Osmo 360, and whatever else is coming is absolutely killing them from a financial perspective, because the products are ready, right? And they're ready to ship. So there are a lot of people in the background that are working. I can't talk about it specifically, but they're not also a big noise company, right? So they're fixing things in the background, and you'll see announcements coming about how they're trying to combat a lot of this nonsense that's going on. I'm very hopeful that it's going to work out. And I think, come first of the year, there'll be some decisions on the security aspects of what happened. And I think that either there'll be a tariff specifically on DJI drones, or, they're just going to be back and the embargo is going to be lifted. I'm very hopeful.
Ron, do you have any closing thoughts for any questions, final thoughts for Rick?
No, I wanted to say I've enjoyed, all of Rick's videos, but especially the ones you've made about DJI's ongoing projects. A lot of people, get it wrong. They give information out about like the drone ban is already in effect or whatever, where you broke it down, let them know this is all that Uyghur situation from the customs agents that are slowing the drones down. You just kind of broke it all down, that nobody else has really kind of put it all together like that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's hard for me I don't like to dive into politics, right? Because that's, it's a very personal thing, and everybody believes what they believe, and I respect it. But this one, I just could not wait any longer. I just had to get it off my chest. And I'll probably have another clip or two diving into some details about maybe some of the opportunities to get out of this mess. But, we'll see where we're going. Also, next time, Bill, if I'm on again, ask me about e-bikes.
I will.
Will change your life, man. I'm telling you, it's it's been a life changer for me, and I'll leave it at that. I'm going to do a clip on it, but I feel like anybody our age ought to look into them, because the advancements in that market are just phenomenal. These new, what I'll call augmented e-bikes, are like a miracle. You get on them, they sense how you're pedaling. You hit a hill, it makes the hill disappear because it kicks in a little bit to augment your pedaling. So I can go 30 miles on an e-bike, on an augmented e-bike, and it's healthy. You're out in the sun. You're lowering your cholesterol, you're lowering your stress. I just love it. So give that some thought. Yep.
Except you don't want to be on the roads in Florida. That's all I got.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You're right. I didn't think about that.
It's just kind of crazy, but we will have you back soon for that. That would be absolutely fantastic. I know.
That's good. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Rick.
A lot of people.
Sorry about all the trouble in the beginning. I got it sorted out. So
no problem. No problem. We're grateful. We're thankful, and I know from seeing from the chat, everybody thoroughly enjoyed having you on board, and thank you for those recent clips that you did. I know I'm going to echo what Ron said to kind of close things out. These are things that needed to be said, and people needed to say it regardless of your political affiliations. Okay, we're all brothers and sisters in drones right here. Okay,
yep, that's what it's about.
We love the technology. We use it. We have meetups. We have fun. This is where it's at, and we want to keep going forward with this and not get stalled or go backwards. So
right.
That's it, guys. I want to thank all you guys in the chat. Were super fantastic. Great questions, great comments tonight. Anything, if you have anything for Rick, make sure you can, reach him on his social media, you know, and I'm sure he'll get that, or send me an email. I'll get it to him. Don't worry about that. You know, if you have a question for him that didn't get answered tonight, you know, we'll get that. We'll get that out there for you. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight. Really appreciate it. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Rick, stay on.
Good night.
Okay. Thanks.